In Menzies auctions, we've found lately that our finest moments seem to be in modern Australian painting, and we've come to love Brett Whiteley's work because of the wonderful paintings which the market has brought forward recently, and of course the exciting prices that those paintings achieve. The artist who, in my mind, I most often compare with Whiteley is, strangely enough, John Brack. If you consider that Whiteley was this classic Sydney painter of languid, sunny afternoons, interiors with nudes, lying about on sofas, dreaming, in Melbourne, John Brack does his equivalent paintings, somewhat less sexy or less luxurious, less voluptuous, but Brack's nudes have a kind of intellectualizing quality about them, which possibly is Brack's notion of how we in Melbourne fancy ourselves as being at variance to that Sydney sense of hedonism, let's say. His nude with a frame, painted in 1980, is one of the most interesting nudes of Brack's. It's a very typical nude, actually, but it's one of the nicest ones I've seen. Brack was painting these nudes from his earliest period. I think in the 1950s there are a couple of very fine examples, and the Boucher nude, which is a famous Brack painting, painted in the 50s, is a $1 million plus painting. But through the 60s and 70s, in both oils and in prints and drawings, Brack confirms the nude as his probably most consistent subject matter. He continues to do it throughout his whole life. Brack's nudes are always very strongly schematized. They have a very distinct style of painting. He has a very distinct style of painting them, and it's when you look at his famous Collins Street 5 p.m. with those figures walking home, and you look at the painting, it's a collection of faces of individuals. So his paintings are a curious amalgam of schematization, which is kind of a generalizing tendency in his style, but also he relishes the difference between people, and he likes to extract that difference by presenting them in his paintings. So all of his nudes present as a collection of the kind of cornucopia of types, the stereotypes. So often his nudes have a wistful or a poignant or a saucy or a foxy look. And in this case, the nude, it's actually a little bit difficult to discern exactly what type of girl we're dealing with here. Brack's nudes are based on classical archetypes, and so the Boucher nude, which was one of his most famous, is drawn from the famous painting by François Boucher, the French 18th century artist, who painted the wonderful, soft and voluptuous Rococo classic painting of Mademoiselle O'Murphy, which there are several versions, including one in Cologne Gallery, with this girl lying supine on her sofa waiting for her lover, of course, to arrive. And in Brack's paintings, that's the furthest thing from her mind, I'm sure, but it's the compositional type that Brack uses, and then contrasting his very severe and somewhat rigorous rendering with this Boucher. That's the point of this painting. It's kind of showing the two sides of the coin. This is Brack's approach to art. It's always an intellectual approach mixed with a little bit of wit and in fact some cleverness, but so his paintings engage on various levels. Brack's nude with frame, painted in 1980, will go to our auction in September 23rd and 24th, with estimates of $220,000 to $280,000.